Let me say a blessed Friday morning to one and all, listeners and viewers alike. Good morning to you. Hope all is well with you this morning. Those of you via social media platforms, good morning to you also. Hope that you're doing A-OK also. Thanks for being with us. It's To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. It's Friday, the 27th day of June. And folks, we're definitely jumping into an open line edition of To The Point for today, which means you listeners and viewers alike, you have the option of calling in, share your views, share your concerns, but matters that are of importance to you this morning. Let's hear from you. And I always chip in that a little bit and say, hey, let's hear about solutions also. So the lines are open, 435-2048. That's both the WhatsApp and the direct line. Give me that call, folks. And certainly, I'm all ears this Friday morning. I want to listen to you. I want to hear from you, listeners and viewers alike. Let's go. So we're ready to roll. Good morning once again. Good Friday. And I was actually mentioning in the sun this morning, it's going to be a good Friday. For some reason, I'm happy about today. For some reason, something has just cheered me up a whole lot since I got up this morning, feeling that good. And I certainly hope that I maintain that particular feeling for the entire day today. All right. So let's hear from you, folks. 435-2041. About the WhatsApp and the direct line. Let's hear from you this morning. Let's get the conversation rolling off this morning here on today's edition of To The Point. Of course, it's Friday, which actually means it's our final one for the week. Yeah, and I'll be back with you on Monday of next week, and we continue once again, of course, bringing that good feeling to you, listeners and viewers alike. Those of you via social media pages, good morning to you once again. Hope all is well with you, whatever part of the world you're listening and viewing us via. I want to take the time to wish you all the best. Don't forget our Facebook page. All right, yes, you may have to, I haven't signed into it yet, but you may have to look for, is it GBN News and Radio? And you should be able to, instead of just looking for GBN Grenada Broadcast, so that's a new link you may have to look if you're making that search for us via the Facebook page. So once again, phone lines are open. Who's going to get the ball rolling this morning? 435-2041. 435-2041. The lines are open, folks. Let's hear from you. To The Point, Classic Radio, GBN TV. Drivers on Nation Roads, let me say good morning to you. Hope all is well. And as I mentioned on my way to work this morning, it was pretty moving good. For the areas that I transversed from this morning, pretty moving. Traffic was moving nicely. No hiccups and so forth. Took me less than 5 minutes to get here this morning, so that was good. So if there are areas where you are driving this morning and for some reason it's slowed down for some reason, I'm not sure. I hope there's no accident or someone is just playing around on the road. You know, some folks will just stop and have a conversation with someone and then hold the traffic up in the morning. I know what that feels like. So once again, 435-2041. I'm not sure what will be. I don't have a particular subject matter that I want to throw out at you this morning. I'm leaving it up to you, listeners and viewers, to get it rolling. And someone may just interject with a conversation that you may want to start this morning, and certainly we get the ball rolling. We do have our first caller. Caller, good morning, and you're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, GT.
Good morning to you.
Morning to your listeners. Now, I have this concern. I had the opportunity to visit the area around Swavin-Swayze, that's in St. Patrick's.
Yes.
And the place is really, really beautiful. And I was wondering who is responsible for this area.
When you say beautiful, I mean plants or it's clean. What's your description of just mere beautiful?
You know, the environment, you know, you have the sea breeze, you have like this nice, the view, everything. It's a beautiful place, right?
Okay.
Generally speaking, right? But what I noticed is that there is a lot of dumping.
So that is spoiling the beauty there first already.
Yeah,
all right,
the place is so nice. And there is all this, you know, refuse on being dumped there. And I was wondering, is it privately owned land? Is it government land? And, you know, how can we go about keeping these places, because that's not the only place where you have, to me, it looks like illegal dumping. Like companies would give trucks and so on the opportunity to bring those things to Perseverance, and then they would sneak into people's property and properties like these, and they would dump there. So I am wondering, I don't know how we can get us to stop doing that. And what I saw, one of the whoever, they put up cameras and so on. I think more of this needs to be done so that we can keep our country beautiful,
Thank you. You threw me off there a wee bit because when you said, "Oh, this is so beautiful," then you just switched to say the garbage. It kind of threw me off there a little bit, because you started talking about it being so nice and beautiful, and then you went, "Oh, the garbage." So
it is beautiful, even with the garbage. It is beautiful.
It's still beautiful still.
So just imagine how much more beautiful it could be.
I understand. Okay. I certainly hope residents, or even though it's not the residents of the area, whoever is doing that, will change their whole mindset in reference to that. We have to keep Grenada beautiful.
I don't think it's them. GT, one final thing. We have an issue where we have illegal arms and ammunition coming in, right? And we had this amnesty recently.
Yes.
Apparently, the amnesty was not that successful. And so I am appealing to the Minister of National Security. There has to be an added set of rules and regulation, if you want to call it that. We have to take it up a notch higher.
I'm getting the feeling that you have some concerns along that line still.
Well, of course, I think almost all Grenadians with sense will have concerns about it, because it seems as though there are elements, or the elements who create trouble did not bring in the ammunition. They did not bring in the arms. And so I think the police and so on would have to work with a national plan to bring up the optics, if you want to call it that. There has to be a different phase now.
Totally understand. But the penalties if you are caught with any illegal ammunition or guns. You understand? You don't find it makes any sense?
No, that don't make no sense, because listen. No, that don't make any much sense. I mean, yes, I'm not saying they should not have done it, right? But these guys still have their weapons, and if they want to use it, they would use it, and then they would take the penalty. But then somebody's dead, so what sense does it make?
I get the direction you're going. I mean, I guess the penalties are put there to deter individuals from doing it, but with other things that takes place that has penalties already, even with simpler offenses, and folks still continue to do it. Imagine someone have a gun, and those penalties may not put them out at all. I understand where you're coming from.
So I think we need to do a little bit more. I don't know if we have to go into frisking, if we have to go into, you understand what I'm saying?
I'm getting your point. Yeah. And great contribution. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. What a great way to get the ball rolling this morning, and I certainly do understand where the caller is coming from. Let's go back to the phone line. We do have another caller. Good morning and welcome.
Greetings, Mr. Telesford. How are you?
Doing good. It's a good Friday.
You bet it is, man. Nice weather to enter.
Yes.
So let's get down to brass tacks, as them old people used to say, Mr. Telesford. Oh, should I commend the sister on her contribution?
Yes.
Very interesting. You see, why I always say, Mr. Telesford, the time has come, and now there's absolutely no doubt that the Grenadian people have to sit and speak about the future of this country. We cannot continue to leave it to a few politicking demagogues, sleazebags, narcissistic and egotistic individuals who pose as politicians to represent the people. We have to do it ourselves, organizedly. But let's get to the meat of the matter, Mr. Telesford. About 8:30 this morning, I chose to swing around there on the little machine, and I bounced up a letter, a document published by the Grenada Monarchist League. And I want to take the opportunity now and say, to call on this Grenada Monarchist League to identify themselves. What they're afraid. If you, the monarchy, come forward, you support the monarchy. Tell the Grenadian people who you are, because you have a right to support the monarch if you so desire. Is it right? We all have rights. I don't. But I had the balls to say that I don't. If you do, why don't you show who you are? My name name is Jackass Rollo in this here country, and everybody knows, or who is scared to know. Because I have what it takes to say who I am. Why don't you identify? Cowards, faceless, nameless cowards. I challenge you to a publicly televised debate on this matter related to the constitutionality of this country. Come and prove to the people why you feel, because you feel that we should continue to be loyal to a king in this modern times. Come forward. But listen to these people. I'm so happy to an extent that they're fighting young Francis Alexis now. Well, there we go. The monarchist, the loyalist, and Francis Alexis, who's also one. But lesser intensity, because he wants to change the constitution because he feels. And they're in total disagreement with that concern, and they say, let's call for a referendum. I want to join them in that. Let's call for a referendum, but the referendum will not only be, or should not only be, to decide whether or not we should change the oath of allegiance to Her Majesty the King, his heirs and successors, as one of them put it one time. I prefer to say the correct thing, the heirs and successors. But no, let us call upon the people to ask them whether or not they want to continue to live under an imperial order in council of the Queen's King stroke with the monarch's most excellent majesty. Why in 2025 we have to be sucking up to a king? Why? He owns us. Who is he? I say, Chuck the King. I challenge the monarchist league. My name is John Anthony Rollo, lovingly known as Jackass Rollo. Come forward and put your name on the newspaper and let the people know who you are. We'll talk about it as we go along. These are the scribes and Pharisees and hypocrites referred to in Matthew 23, Mr. Telesford. You ever hear a preacher section of the Bible? Have you? No, they don't. Because that's where he called them out. You scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites. Whitewashers of sepulchres with dead men's bones. People who watch evil and call it good. They don't good, Mr. Telesford. We have to call them out. But they're afraid to talk. Why? I want to end it for today. I'll be back. Have a nice day.
You too, sir. Have a good Friday. 435-2041, 14 minutes after the hour here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. It's to the point, the open line edition this morning. So you listeners and viewers, you have that option. Let's hear from you this morning. That concern that you have and you want to contribute to, of course, help this beautiful island move forward. I certainly appreciate your call. Caller, your life. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Telesford.
How are you this morning, my dear?
I'm all right. Mr. Telesford, I want to applaud two young men this morning, Mr. Ken Jones and Mr. Arthur K. Yes, I haven't heard men apologize, especially to the public. Even though they apologize behind the scene, right? But some of them know they're wrong. But they're holding on until death. Apology is very hard for stuff to come out in some people's mouth. And when I hear this man made this statement, he mislead a lot of people with the information he gave with right along. And then Ken Jones come out and blast him real hard. And these two people could come back on the radio and apologize for the mistake and the wrong. I want to give them a thumbs up this morning, and I hope other men could take a page from two of them that when they're wrong, check it out and come back and apologize. The next is Mr. Telesford. I want to call and mention something about the General Hospital this morning, and it's so sad. And I want to say this morning, people's life is very important. And we have to handle the things in the right way. You tell me, you're doing surgery, a little clip as the man claimed, the security tell him that a clip gone, so you know when current go, you have something cheap on and then you get power. And that wasn't working in the hospital, and based on the caller, they had a surgery going on because he said they had to use lights. He didn't say somebody died, but he said go and find out if any death didn't take place with this thing. The Prime Minister can know about the switch was gone and bad in the hospital. The Minister of Health can know, but we are the maintenance the maintenance team to know this thing gone wrong. And I find the security in the hospital could have seen management and tell them what happened. Just as how you meet the chatters on the street and he mentioned that switch didn't work in, he could have meet them because he walked in and...
But caller, are you sure of that information that you're sharing? Because, you know, sometimes this is like another third-party talk, eh? You understand?
I like that because if you
know, because you know you sharing it and it's you sharing it because you heard it from someone else.
But
you understand?
If you go back and you listen to the clip because they don't record everything, you could know what I'm saying. The person did mention that. I didn't make up that story.
I'm not accusing you. I'm not accusing you. You know, but sometimes when it's information of that is that sensitive, sometimes it needs something to get more facts about it before you come and just spill it more. You understand?
Yes, I agree with you 100%. So if people know next time somebody come on a program and they're using this thing, they should stop them to and ask them if they're true. Don't let everybody know it's a false thing, but some people don't are full. Some certain callers to come and spread propaganda because if I hear you say something on the radio and I say, I don't make up a story, I just repeating what the person say. You understand?
I get where you're coming from.
Okay, darling.
Have a good morning and have a good Friday, all right? All right. We do have another caller. A caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome. How are you doing this morning?
Telesford.
Good morning. WhatsApp caller. Good morning.
Hello?
You're welcome. Yes. Good morning. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. I'm assuming you are hearing me. Good morning. All right. We may have to come back to that caller in a wee bit for some reason or the other. 435-2041, 435-2041. It's the numbers you can call here on Fort to be part of today's program. It's an open line edition of To The Point. We're moving on to 19 minutes. After the hour. We due for a break. Let's take that break. And when we come back, we resume with our program this morning here on To The Point. Just after the break. Stay with us. Don't touch it down.
Fly the Jones swoosh, it's Lava Man, and you already know the energy. It's all about GBN Spice of the Carnat Soca Mona competition. This year is going to be greater, bolder, more exciting than ever. And it's all about the quarterfinals on the 25th of July. The 31st of July will be the semi-finals and August 8th finals. Artists, if you think you have what it takes to own the stage, now is your chance. Get there, be there, see you there. Lava Man, the real mad one. Fly the Jones, swoosh, GBN Spice of the Carnat Soca Mona competition.
Paying is faster and easier with Flow FastPay. Use your MasterCard or Visa and pay from anywhere. Log on to discoverflow.co/fastpay and press consumer. Select your country and enter your account number. Enter the amount to be paid and an email address. Enter your credit card information. You'll receive a payment confirmation with the transaction details, along with a receipt to your email address. It's fast, safe, and easy. Flow, keeping you connected.
The Mount Morris Community Development Organization invites you to all West Indian breakfast on Sunday, June 29th from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m.
at the Mount Morris Community Center grounds. Come enjoy local breakfast delicacies, all made by the residents of Mount Morris,
which includes a vegetarian option for only $25. Also available on sale, pastries and a solid bar, fresh produce from the farmers market.
The best part, there's a playground and a bouncing castle for the kids. Let's go.
So bring the kids along. This breakfast is our pan breakfast featuring River Road Pan Wizards as we get ready for Spice Mass 2025.
Also providing music is our very own in-house DJ Slick. We'll be on the ones and twos. Sponsors: Clackscott Rum,
Hubbard's,
Glen Graphics, Power 95 FM,
Batagrenada.com,
and Dynamic Realty. You don't want to miss this breakfast.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point Classic Radio GBN TV, Friday, the 27th day of June, 2025. Our open line edition this morning. Let me say good morning to the WhatsApp callers and our callers via the direct line. For the WhatsApp callers, yeah, there was an issue where you were not hearing me a while ago. That has been rectified, so you should be hearing me clearly now. Let's go to the WhatsApp caller and say good morning. WhatsApp caller, you're welcome.
Yeah, greetings to you, Mr. Telesford. I'm hearing you clearly now.
Yes. That has been rectified.
Yes, in light of the current situation with this war and rumors of war, yes, we as a small island state don't have much power. The world leaders, they plan their thing, they have their arsenals, and they go to do what they're going to do. But there are things we can do for ourselves. One, Mr. Telesford, there's no army more powerful than a praying people. There is no weapon more powerful than prayers. We could pray. Christians could pray like God asked the Israelites in Chronicles, 2 Chronicles chapter 14, about if the people who are called by my name. So we know the quotation, I can't remember it. If we pray as small as we could do that for ourselves, pray, fast, repent, God going to come in for us. He has never failed his people. We saw that in the desert. When the Israelites were in the desert, he rained manna from heaven. When they couldn't get water, he asked Moses to strike a rock. Water came through. Because when this war could happen, crops will be destroyed, water will be contaminated, but Mr. Telesford, God could open up a spring in your backyard for you to get fresh water. This is the God we're dealing with. In these times, we ought not to be living in fear and panic. We have to trust in the God, our Father, who created us, who could protect us. We saw it is recorded in the books of Chronicles, Kings, Samuel, Ezekiel, Psalm, etc., how God came through for his people. Remember when Esther in the strange land, she and her people in the strange land, and they planned to annihilate them. What Esther did, she called the people to say, pray and fast for me. They prayed and they fast, and God delivered them from the hands of the enemies.
Cole, I'm going to ask you to take another 10 seconds and wrap, please. I appreciate your call.
Well, yes, thank you, sir. Thank you for
Have a good day. Thank you so much. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning to you. I heard a comment on it wasn't a comment, it was on Get to the Point, and some caller called and said certain things. But what we're really forgetting is that government come and government go, yes, this is how it is. But the thing is, we had a government for how many years? We all know. Okay. And the thing is, since I was a little girl from the beginning, I don't know what is government. In those days, I didn't understand fully what is government. All I hearing is GNP and GULP, and it goes on and on and on until you reach down to NNP. Okay. But the thing is, Mr. Telesford, the king, some years ago, the queen's son came to Grenada, and he spent some time here with the government and others, and he leave a number of money, which I didn't take it into consideration at that time. But he left money to rebuild the courthouse, to rebuild the government house, to rebuild the general governor house. He leave the money to rebuild all these things in Grenada. And the money went to the hand of the government. And what has been done about it? Up to now, nothing has been done about it, and it is still there. The Governor General has to go and rent a place for she to live. The next who again, he take himself and he go way, way up in that place up there. I'm not going to say more. As a government, and he go and rent a building. So this money has to come out from government expense to pay these rents and them for these people. When we had the money in the hand to rebuild these places and them, and so that they could live in it and use it and utilize it as government properties. But what it is done, nothing has been done about it, right? Nothing at all has been done about it, and it sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there, and it gets old. Like old Jerusalem, it gets old and break up, and it gone down like when fire burns something. And right now, it is not in use, and government now still have to spend money and get the money to rebuild all these places and them for government purposes. I mean, what sort of government is that people looking into? What government is that when Grenada could have rebuilt by that government and nothing has been done? Because for me, in my days, I don't see anything has been done from this government. So I pray that God will bless him and in his time now, and I pray that God will bless this former government, that God send this little man to rescue Grenada.
Thank you, caller.
And I continue to give him thanks. So have a nice day, Mr.
You too, caller. Have a good Friday.
Have a good day.
Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Beresford.
Good morning. And it's Telesford, not Beresford. It's Telesford. It starts with a T.
Oh, Mr. Telesford. Mr. Telesford. Sorry, I apologize. Listen, moving Grenada forward. I heard on the news this morning about the drink and driving, and I welcome that, even for myself. I don't say I drink exclusively over the limit, right? Mm-hmm. But here what's going on. I welcome that because it will save lives, and more importantly, it'll save car accidents and everything like that. You know what I mean? It's easy to drink and go over the limit because Grenada is a rum country. Let's face it. And people do delve in.
I don't always agree to it. I don't always agree to it. As it's been said, but I don't always agree to it. We're not a rum country. I'm not going to go for it. I'm not.
No, not a rum. But yeah,
but you just said it. You just said it. But I don't always agree to it.
Class code, everything, right?
Yeah, we produce it. We produce here, but I don't think we should be put down ourselves as being a rum country. Some folks may be offensive, but
yeah, all right. Maybe that's a bit harsh. But let me tell you something. I think it's a good thing going forward. You know what I mean? That man who want to jump behind, they will have to watch what they're drinking to an extent.
Yes.
And be safe. You understand me?
All right,
that's good. And I will end it with this. The Prime Minister is coming to not long now before it comes to an end where they go have election again. I bet him any money that he go back in because he hasn't done a thing wrong apart from bringing Grenada forward into the future.
All right.
God bless Grenada.
You too. Have a good Friday, man.
You too, man.
You too. Good be blessed. Caller Live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing quiet.
All right. I hope you're having a good Friday like I'm having a good Friday.
Yes, I am.
All right.
Chilling a little bit.
All right.
I was somewhat taken by surprise that you corrected that. Well, you tried to interject with the gentleman in relation to calling Grenada a rum country.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't have the information, but GT, I follow news. I think I'm somewhat excessive, so to speak. But I've never heard, and I don't think that statement that she made is correct. and you did not contradict it. When King, whoever it is, come to Grenada, leave money to build.
I understand, but I just didn't want to. Sometimes conversations gets prolonged for some specific reason. I was kind of listening with what she was saying, but I just didn't want to prolong it any further for vanity. So that's why I just let her go. And let her go. You understand?
To that lady, that information is not correct. That is not correct. Let us. It's not correct. There are some news that I missed, but I would not have missed this one. That information is not correct, and this is one of the serious problems that I have with our still hanging on to the king as or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to make a contribution in relation to almost the same, connecting. It relates to the Constitution. And Mr. Rollo talked about going back to going to referendum and all of that. Elections are very expensive, and a referendum is actually is like running an election because you have to get ballot going all of the constituencies and all of those things. And my suggestion really is to deal with that. In order to get rid of the expense, Mr. Telesford, why not the authorities incorporate into the election process? As it is now, all what happens in the election is one party bash the other in terms of trying to be supreme over the other. Basically, there are no other issues that appear on the ballot box so that the Grenadian people can decide whether it is the death penalty, whether it is the legal age for children, whatever it is, where we can make a determination as a people how we go forward. And I would like to suggest, Mr. Telesford, to the authorities that in the upcoming general election, that we try to get some of the main issues, some of them, not all. We cannot address all of them in one lash, because our people, I realize, are not educated enough around the Constitution. So we choose a few, and we have a discussion on it, and we take it to the people in the election. Just like how in America, you have people voting for the president, but they're also voting for other things, a number of other things. And if we educate our people, so like when we go to the election, we would not just be bashing NMP, or NMP would not just be bashing NDC, and NDC bashing NMP. They will be discussing issues that they want the Grenadian people to decide upon in terms of determining the direction that the country goes in. I think that would be a better approach, because having just a referendum dealing with the constitutional issues, and people in Grenada don't know about it. We are dumb as it relates to our Constitution. So let us have a few of them that are critical, and then we do it in an incremental stage in terms of addressing our problems in Grenada. I think that would be the better approach in terms of addressing that issue of the need for reforming our Constitution. Thank you, and have a good morning.
Thank you, sir. Thank you also for your contribution this morning. Appreciate it a whole lot. 435-2041. The lines are open to you. 435-2041, both the WhatsApp and the direct line. And we have another caller. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Morning. Listen to me. I just want to advertise, because the parliamentary representative for South St. George, Andy Williams, the acting Prime Minister, he is awarding 20 scholarships in 3 different categories, 3 different areas. I think it's early childhood education, level 2, paralegal services, and marketing. So the people of his constituency that is interested in the scholarship, because he had given the scholarship personally, it's 457-5569. You can call the constituency office, 457-5569. So he has these scholarships. So people in that constituency, if you all could call that office, because I think today, first Monday is the deadline, because they want to start classes Tuesday. So not Tuesday, and sometimes in July. So I think that is important. in this relation in constitutional reform is a very expensive, it's very costly, because you have to go around campaign. And what I find that people tend to, in the last two referenda, I think that's the correct name, people vote according to party lines. Some of them don't even know what's happening. They're not even reading the document. It's a thing that you have to get. It's a regular thing. So it's a good idea, but I think in terms of referendum rights, no, on any subject, whether it's the king or the queen or the change, as I know Mr. Rollo is very passionate about it. But these things take a lot of money and a lot of time, and you really have to educate the people. And I still find from the past, although we shouldn't really judge from the past, but it's important that we talk about the past. I find the people vote along party lines. If the party not supporting it, the people not objective, they're going along with the party. So until people change that kind of a mindset, then we could say we could have genuine constitutional or whatever referendum it is, because then the people will be able to be independent thinkers and not be swayed or guided by what a particular party say. They'll be independent thinkers and people that be independent. All right?
Thank you.
So right, thank you.
Thank you. Call over WhatsApp. Good morning, you're welcome.
Morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, subject of referendum. Grenada cannot have a successful referendum because people who supporting referendum now, because according to what the present Prime Minister said, so them is NDC, so they support it. When the NNP was there, they didn't support it. So it's expected that NNP people wouldn't support it. The only three people popular in the media or the educated people I have a little respect for coming to referendum. Well, Dr. Francis Alexis was part of it the first time, and he get blows. Ferguson, the lawyer guy, he had supported it.
Are you there, caller? I think we may have lost the caller. Good morning to you, caller. You're live.
Morning, Namesake. I agree with Amory and Rollo, but in this constitution reform, I want them to add to it for the seniors and the disabled, the transportation to the seed program, revamp that seed program, and add for the transportation for the disabled and the elderly, because their family getting old too. All these ministers have family that need help. So Amory is 100% on need education, and Rollo definitely on the ball. I agree with them both. Have a blessed weekend.
You too, man. Have a good Friday. Folks, 435-2041. I'm reading a message from someone via the WhatsApp. They're saying, I find it strange that the caller who called after Mr. Rollo, of course, valuable contribution, had nothing to say or second what he had been advocating for years. This is a very serious concern for Grenada and should be given an urgent attention or concern. Maybe is what he should have, the last word should have been there. 435-2041. Hey folks, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we get into the final segment of today's program. When we come right back after the break. Stay with us. Don't touch it out.
Time to get charged up for the Fuller Energy Home Series as West Indies takes on Australia in a fiery test match from July 3rd to 7th at the National Cricket Stadium from 10 a.m. each day. Free entry plus fun activities for children under 16 years old. Adult tickets start at just $5 per match day. Let's rally with the men in maroon. Go to windiescricket.com to secure your tickets now. West Indies is back in the spice aisle and we full of energy. West Indies going higher, full of energy.
Fly the Jones swoosh, it's Lava Man, and you already know the energy. It's all about GBN Spice of the Carnat Soca Mona competition. This year is going to be greater, bolder, more exciting than ever. And it's all about the quarterfinals on the 25th of July. The 31st of July will be the semi-finals, and the August 8th finals. Artists, if you think you have what it takes to own the stage, now is your chance. Get there, be there, see you there. Lava Man, the real mad one. Fly the Jones swoosh. Swoosh, GB and Spice of the Carnat Soca Mona competition.
The Mount Morris Community Development Organization invites you to all West Indian breakfast on Sunday, June 29th from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m.
at the Mount Morris Community Center grounds. Come enjoy local breakfast delicacies, all made by the residents of Mount Morris,
which includes a vegetarian option for only $25. Also available on sale, pastries and a solid bar, fresh produce from the farmers market.
The best part, there's a playground and a bouncing castle for the kids. Let's go.
So bring the kids along. This breakfast is our pan breakfast featuring River Road Pan Wizards as we get ready for Spice Mass 2025.
Also providing music is our very own in-house DJ Slick. We'll be on the ones and twos. Sponsors: Clack Scott Rum,
Hubbard's,
Glen Graphics, Power 95 FM,
Patagrenada.com,
and Dynamic Realty. You don't want to miss this breakfast.
Welcome back to our listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point. Friday, the 27th today of June 2025. Final Friday within the month of June. Of next week, we're getting to a brand new month, the month of July. It's an open line edition for today's edition of To The Point, and the lines are open to you, 435-2041. Let's go to the phone line. Guess we lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. We have approximately just around 20 minutes left on today's program. We go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Hi, good morning to you, GT.
How are you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing great, thanks.
All right.
Thank God. I want to just use this opportunity to congratulate the current government on the strides they made in just 3 years in office. Young team. Everything wasn't done perfectly, but I can't recall another 3-year period when any administration, probably apart from the NJM during the revolution, were able to attempt and accomplish so much. And I want to take my hats off to these guys. When you look at the things that were done for the poor and the working class people, in terms of the pension, the minimum wage, the number of people who are regularized, and so many things were done. Agriculture, although someone said recently that agriculture was in crisis, I've never heard of so many ventures in agriculture, although I think it needs to be put together in a better structure so it all comes together as one. But the individual pieces, and just let the MNIB successor come into place, and I think this will cap it all off. But two little things that stand up to me. The first one is the fact that it didn't change the Governor General. Simple thing like that. Because in the past, we had a history of whenever the party changes, the Governor General changes. And the mere fact that they kept the Governor General. Many people take that for granted. They say, to me, this is significant. And one other thing for senior folks like myself who have problems in the night with these bright lights, those black and white markings on the curbs, you know what I'm referring to, GT?
Yes, I know. Exactly.
These are lifesavers for us. Because before, you never knew where the road ended and where the curb, where you're about to fall off a cliff or an edge. And to me, this little thing has mattered so much to me driving. And little things like that to improve the quality of life, it just shows that they are thinking and their hearts are in the right place. Everything may not be perfect. Everything cannot be perfect, but I think that they have done well, and we have to appreciate them for what they have done in such a short time for a completely new, almost completely new government. Hats off to them. Congrats.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're most welcome.
What's up, caller? You're live. Good morning and welcome.
Morning. I want to complete my statement. I respect three people in the referendum. Francis Alexis the first time, Ruggles Ferguson, and Wendy Grenard.
Okay.
I respect them. They were not hypocrites in it. Mr. Rollo didn't support it the last time, so I don't know. So it's political, and I don't think we will ever get it. Because people play politics with everything. Are gone.
Thank you, caller. Right? Thank you so much. 435-2041. We do have another caller via the WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you.
Yes, I just want to give God praise and thanks for Mr. Andy Williams, South St. George, for what he has done. Since they took office, the first meeting they had in Woburn, I spoke about the autistic children, the children with special needs, that they need a skill center. And I'm happy now to see that something is taking place in the lives St. George's. So I want to give God praise and thanks for Mr. Andy Williams.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate your call. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live via the direct line. How you doing this morning? And you're welcome.
Yes. Somebody called and gave an excellent idea.
Caller, could you go right ahead, please?
Yes, they gave an excellent idea regarding putting on the ballots at election time other topics besides just voting for a particular party. They can add to the ballot some, and it is done in other countries. I know it's done in the United States, that when you're voting for the president, there's other things on the ballot. You might say that with our population is not so literate.
Caller, I think you are being distracted by having your radio or television on, and I think it's distracting you. So as we always say, and I continue to say, whenever you're calling the station, make sure you turn this device off and just have the conversation via the telephone. Caller via WhatsApp, you're live. Let's continue. Caller, you're live. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, GT. Morning to your listeners and morning to your viewers.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Well, good. I was doing my little devotion, if you call it that, my little inspirational top-up.
Yes.
So I joined your program late. But I mean, some of the ideas, some of the issues that are coming up. For instance, for the last 24 hours, I was thinking maybe 1,600
Caller, for some reason or the other, you are fading in the background. I'm not sure if you're using a third-party device, but you're fading off. Yes.
Are you hearing me better now?
Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, I was saying I joined your program late because I was doing my own, reinforcement. And anyway, but some of the issues that are coming out, I haven't joined the program, issues to do with the elections and so on, and the Constitution and so on. I was thinking within the last 24 hours, one of the things that we could do to help people to become more responsible, apart from ensuring that we have a better school system and, more community engagement and so on, is to find a way to make it compulsory. That every single adult vote like it's done in Australia. You can't make excuse. Everybody must vote. So that in the end, we can't point fingers. I always say, even though some people, I don't agree with their political stance, I still regard them more highly than those who may have points that might coincide with my thinking, but who refuse to even register or go and vote. I think everybody should be voting once you have reached a legal age. And that should be the case. But I think sometimes we spend a lot of time talking about things that are very simple in its application. For instance, one of the things that the government could have done. Trying to get everybody's engagement in it or agreement. Is it correct that anomaly which took place at our independence situation, which is basically going to Parliament, get the agreement of the people on the other side, and just do the thing retroactively, as we do with financial issues and so on. So that could be out of the way, and then we forge a way to have a constitution that would be beneficial to both us now, but more so those going into the future. If we do that, we could solve a lot of the problem, although I don't think a new constitution would necessarily solve a lot of the problem we have. What we need is attitudinal and behavioral change more than anything else. We need to learn to respect each other, but before we could respect each other, we need to learn to respect ourselves. If we are in denial of who we are, that we are this and we are that, and which is far from who we are, then we'll continue to have problems. And finally, I think, now that we talk a lot about our connection with Africa, we need a day for Africa in our calendar. Okay. A day that where only Africa we're thinking about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. I appreciate your call. 435-2041, 435. And sometime with callers, and I don't always the aspect of us following other countries. Some may not agree with me, and I think if there's anything that we need to come up with, we could come up with it on our own. But always the statement is made we should follow suit of someone else or what they're doing elsewhere. That sometimes throws me off a whole lot. Call your life. We lost that caller there. 435-2041. That's a number if you want to be part of today's program. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Gigi. Nice program this morning. I just love the whole atmosphere. It's very important for us to stress the record-breaking time in which this present government move in.
Yes.
And all of us already acknowledge that. As we see, there's no perfection. But at the end of the day, those young guys, remember they were cancelled. They were called all different names. And generally, they're doing a wonderful job.
All right.
And we should give credit to that. But concerning that thing with the Queen and the referendum and so on, let me just stress, right, that this thing is lingering on. We've been brainwashed, first of all, from a religious point of view, educational point of view, and a political point of view. And only the black nation that never really receives reparation. And we dancing around it, even within the religious system, and we tend not to talk about it. As a matter of fact, if you go to do theological study or theology, you don't even hear the talk about those things, how it affects us. Because if you look at Romans 12, it talk about renewing the mind. If the mind is messed up, there's no way you can have the faculties to do anything in life. And if you're already brainwashed, because you know what the system done to us. If you take away your land, they take away all the opportunities, they own the essential services and all the businesses. There's no way you and I could progress. And it will take a time. And then in terms of the education, what they've done over the years through media, through the businesses, through the institutions. So they've been successful in dividing us through even languages. So these are some of the things that we have to understand. The folks that get bombed up, and a lot of compensation are given, only the black race that never get reparations. And still we dancing around it. And still some of us don't want to talk about it. Anyhow, my brother, have a blessed day.
You too, sir. Have a good Friday. Caller WhatsApp. Good morning. You're live.
Hey, GT, good morning.
Good morning, my bro. How you doing this morning?
Not too bad, because we have nice weather today.
Yeah, we have nice weather in your neck of the woods. Well, it's in return in Grenada also. We have nice weather here also today also. Maybe a little humid,
so
but
GT, are you going to see the cricket the next week?
You're always trying to put me on that spot, yeah? Anyway.
you always do the same thing to
me. Anyway, man, let's hear your contribution this morning.
But GT, I was listening to an interview with Dr. Mitchell, and then I could see that Dr. Mitchell is totally wearing out. It's like his frustration, because I think he's disappointed the way the party is right now, the MNP, because MNP is not making headway. We see the surrogates and them been all going through the movement, and then I think he's very frustrated now. So I'm looking to see what kind of change it will make in the NNP, because going into the next election, I see that I have 15-0 strictly for NNP. You understand?
Caller with us? I think we lost the caller there. Let's go to the direct line. Direct line, good morning. You're welcome.
Good morning, Jay.
Good morning to you.
And good morning to your listeners. Jay, sometimes I think that caller is just suffering from being in New York, or maybe I'm stressed. I don't know. And sometimes he see things in him more that I don't know where he get his information from. But I'm not making my issue. I'm just looking at the double standard, Jay. The double standard. I remember when NNP was in office, they say NNP is doing concrete work, too much of concrete work. Or is the human resource? What is the human resource? And NNP set people on scholarships. But now, NNP in office, they would tell you NNP never done nothing at all. The double standard. And then now they do a piece of road, maybe 100 feet, and they will plaster it on Facebook for the whole world to see like they do so much good. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying that look at the double standard. Thirdly, there was a caller yesterday on your program, a lady to be exact. She said that she don't like when people call the politician's name and call them all kind of names, and she wants the politicians to do something about that because it's spoiling the name. And I do agree with her. We need to have some respect for politicians. Yes, but if they're doing wrong, you have to call it out. There's a difference between calling out when they're doing wrong and just spoiling the name. So I'm against that, yes. But I remember that same caller used to be on a next podcast, and she and an individual would call the Prime Minister Purple Black, expired corned beef, and just name it, and they would laugh and giggle and say all kind of things in their mouth. Look at the double standard. Now she have a problem with it now. So I'm just saying the Grenadians need to be fair. Politics is the issue of the day. Let us attack the issue and not the individuals. Because at the end of the day, we have to build our country. We have to build a beautiful country. And politicians will come and they will go. But the country will remain. And we have to create a future for the younger ones. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, caller. Appreciate your call. We have another caller via WhatsApp. WhatsApp caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, JT.
Good morning to you, sir. Brother. Good morning to you.
I listen to the program there, and I find one of the most brilliant ideas I ever heard on this program is a comment by one of your where he suggests that the upcoming election campaign.
Caller, for some reason you seem to be very low. I'm not sure the reason why, but you seem to be very low.
Yes, well, I'll speak up. I feel that is one of the most brilliant ideas to put in the upcoming election one item in the referendum that we would like to change. And my preference is that to change the constitution from 2/3 to 50+1 or 55%. That is my recommendation, and I feel that would be a good idea to change the constitution.
All right.
You have a good.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. You seem to be very low. Let's take our final caller for the morning. Caller, you're live. Good morning and welcome.
Mr. Telesford, pleasant morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning to your listening audience. Thank you. Now, Mr. Telesford, when our colonial masters was handing down a constitution to us, they know exactly what they was doing. Because in order for us to get the numbers, when you live in the so-called democracy, us and them, based on how it is intended to divide us, they know it will be very difficult for us to change what they give us. Now, quickly, Mr. Telesford, we must respect our politicians. I agree. But when you have a local podcaster calling out a minister of government for taking a bribe, she gave the figures, she detailed the process. The person she named as giving the bribe was also given a very large government contract. Then she said to the minister, take me to court for lying. She said to the minister, sue me for lying. Sue me if I'm not telling the truth. Mr. Telesford, when nothing is done, when they're trying to sweep it under the carpet. When you hear corruption talk, it may not be true. But tell me what people, the ordinary man, supposed to believe. You know, if you are accusing a minister of government of doing something illegal, he just simply say, I don't know nothing about that. You understand? And the person who is accusing you, they're saying, take me to court for lying. Sue me if I'm lying. You can't sue, and you can't sue. You can't take them to court. Tell me what we in the masses, we in the public, we the electorate, what we supposed to believe. This is the voice of the movement. This is the voice of a committed and dedicated supporter of the movement. And I want to say to my Grenadian brothers and sisters, let not your political hearts be troubled. Help is on its way. Have a pleasant weekend, sir.
Thank you, caller. Have yourself a good Friday. Hey, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. I want to thank all who sat at home. If you were driving in your cars, you're at work, wherever you were, and you listened to this week's program. I want to thank you a whole lot, and continue to listen to The Point. And this is why I'm going to say goodbye for its final edition for this week. Join me again next week for more editions of To The Point. That's what we say goodbye. Have a good one, folks, and best wishes for the rest of the day.